Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. The sun's starting to really get intense here, so I'm going to break camp and get out into the water. Just real quick, I was going to show you my shelter system that I brought on my 4-day solo kayaking trip. All right, so this was an ultralight pack for me. This was not so much ultralight as weight as far as gear. Everything had to fit in carry-on luggage because I'm just flying out of here. So my shelter system was very simple. It's not very much deviant from my normal kit. I've got my ridge line and stakes in here. Only used a couple stakes. I did use the ridge line, but not to hold up the tarp. So I was trying to extend my hammock. These little Walmart stakes have held in the sand pretty good. I haven't had any terrible winds. This is a windy corner of the island I'm on right now. So the hammock was moving around all night. But it's still not too bad. For my tarp, this is a 10 by 10 Bushcraft Outfitters sil nylon tarp. Didn't use it, haven't brought it out yet. Hopefully I won't. The sun, I'm just kind of ducking in trees or getting wet, doing the best I can to stay out of it. I haven't had inclement weather yet. I would never not have this with me. This is an important part of my kit. Anywhere I go, this thing goes with me, but haven't had to use it yet. This thing has been tucked up into the far corner of my kayak, the very far nose of it. So it's always with me. Haven't had to use it yet for a tarp. I have had to use it underneath my hammock over my previous campsite. The mangrove trees just bend like hell. They're designed to blow out of the wind and not break. So anytime you try to lay into things, they just bend down. My hammock was basically turned into a bug net. So to protect the hammock, I set my tarp down between me and the sand just to give it a little protection. Only piece of gear that I've got with me that didn't work out is a wave pillow. I got this off Amazon. I had it last spring. I bought it. I've never used inflatable camp pillow before. A lot of guys I camp with have them. I've always just used a shemagh or a piece of fleece, whatever kind of clothing I got left over. This thing, total piece of shit. It worked for a little bit. The first couple trips I took it on, it worked. It started to leak a little bit of air. Currently, it won't hold anything. It just deflates 3 or 4 times before I'm asleep. Completely worthless. I've actually put it with my garbage in one of the hatches of the kayak, and this thing's getting thrown out. I'm looking for a replacement pillow to use in a hammock. Now, as far as my sleep system, I didn't really have much for this trip. This is new for me. I have a MSS sleeping system with the jungle bag. That was the lightest weight thing I had. I didn't really want a sleeping bag. I wanted more of a blanket. It's lows in the 70s, mid 70s. So it's actually pretty damn nice here, besides the feeding sharks. But it's 85 in the 80s, 70 is about as low as it's gonna get. So this is worked out perfectly. Most of the time, I will either put this whole bag into the side shelf compartment of my hammock, pull it out when I need it. I've used it every evening. I've never used it when I went to bed. So sometime around, whatever, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, it usually starts to get a little colder, and I pulled it out. Last night was the only night I was covered up most of the evening. I still didn't have it when I first started, but this is a big wind that whips down this beach here. I'm on a different part of the island, and you can see the hammocks moving. I was doing that all night long. So I was glad to have this. This was perfect gear for me. I didn't need a convertible poncho, insulated, nothing. I didn't need a sleeping bag. I got sand all over me. This worked out just fine. So the size was what I was after. It's about the same size as my tarp, about the same size as my hammock. So it all packed in there nice and neat. 100% happy with the snug pack jungle blanket. All right, so that brings me to my main component, my war bonnet hammock. Got sand in it right now, hard to believe. I wanted something with a zip-up bug net. That was one of the main things I wanted. This is a new hammock for me. I got it for Christmas. Actually, my wife got it for me. Love the bug net feature, probably didn't need it. It was really no worse here than just in the woods in the summer, the northern Ohio area. Not like you think it would be. I was glad to have it. You could hear things buzzing around outside the screen of the bug net. If I would get up, go to the bathroom or something, there'd be a bug in there, and I could hear it buzzing around until I ended up killing it. But it was great. The hammock slept great. Again, I had a few days with the Campcraft gang before I did my solo trip, so I used it every night there, but one. And then the last night, I was using it more like a bivvy. So the hammock was laid 100% on the ground, just taut enough to keep the ridge line up with the bug screen off of me. Very, very challenging to find trees for this to work in this environment, but I'm glad I had it, and the hammock's been pretty great. I'm gonna go ahead and take it down now. I'll show you what it looks like all packed up, and that is my complete sleep system. All right, so here's the war bonnet all broke down, and this is double-ended, so it just pulls right out of the bag, and the bag actually stays on the ridge line. So pretty happy with it. Again, nothing, no real surprises. If I did this trip again, I may bring a tent actually. If I had room, I'd bring a hammock and a tent, but I probably won't have room. But there's definitely issues with these islands as far as finding some place to swing a hammock. But here it is. This a little bit larger than my tarp, a little bit larger than my snug pack when it's bound up like this, but it's not compressed at all. You can see this thing would fold down pretty well. But for my use, I like it a little loose like this, so I can maneuver it and get it to fit in a certain slot in my Go rucksack. So that is it. That's my sleep system. Simple. Not a lot of variant from what I normally use. Probably the bug net was the main thing. I kind of wish I would have had an air mattress with me. I double up a lot of times and use a mattress with a hammock. It kind of gives the hammock form. Haven't done that yet with the war bonnet. It is a 2-layer hammock, so I have that ability, but I just haven't done it yet. But due to constraint for space, I had to forego the mattress and just get by with a hammock, a tarp, and a jungle blanket. That and an accessory bag that's got my ridgeline in it, and I'm pretty much set. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. Please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell and get notified on future videos. Take care.